Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 184th edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by Disney's number one hater, Jaden.
G'day.
G'day. And of course, we have Cinema Effect's most popular member on Letterboxd, aka Fitzy, aka Liam.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. Very good. Very excited to talk about some Australian cinema. Some Australian cinema. Are they... I don't know the generations well. Are they Gen Z people?
Wait,
Danny and Michael,
how do you
RackaRacka?
mean, how do you mean Gen Z? What is
there's
that?
the directors.
I don't know, like, what generation are they in?
Like, in terms of what year they were born in, or like what year like they're creating like content for?
No, yeah, what year they're born in?
I don't fucking know generations.
Oh.
No, that'd be like Gen Y, like the previous one.
Gen Y? Oh,
but the
okay.
actors, the movies, are Gen Z actors and stuff.
Right.
Are we Gen Z?
I think we're just Gen Z.
What's below us?
Gen Alpha, I think, is the next is the next wave.
I don't know anything about any of this shit. Anyway, I just wanted to make the off-remark comment that this was like a Gen Z Aussie film, basically, is what I was getting at. But then I wanted to learn about generations in the meantime. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the podcast places, Google. So, subscribe if you enjoy the show. Don't subscribe if you don't. It's up to you, This week, we're reviewing Talk to Me, which opened in Australia, to our dismay, on October 30th, 2022. But we're going to ignore that for our Letterboxd end of year stuff.
I'm not. I've chosen to obey the number.
Oh, have you really?
I've chosen to obey the number.
Oh, stiff. The film was directed by Danny and Michael Philippou. I heard it pronounced. I heard them say it and I forgot. Shit. I think it's Philippou. Oh, I don't know. It's a horror thriller, and the synopsis says, when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Hell yeah. Fitzy, talk to me. Did it talk to you? I was literally like going to say, like, did it speak to you? But that's like, Anyway, what'd you think?
Yeah, I had a pretty good time. Like it had a very like dark and depressing kind of undertone. It was very sustained throughout, and the horror was very kind of unsettling and kind of melded with the tone very well. It didn't feel too, the makeup and stuff didn't ever feel too much or too jarring or anything. So it felt like a good, combination of theme and story, and it was pretty good overall. I think the acting was pretty great, and pretty great for a debut as well. Pretty good directing, so I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. That's very true, actually. I've been listening to them speak about the film a fair bit the last couple of days, and they talked about how in the, not to get too far in the weeds already, but in the initial possession sequence with Mia, like how they had basically designed this whole visual effect for like her hair, and it was going to be like all this crazy shit going on with it CG wise, but then it was done, but then they took it out because they felt it took away from grounding the horror, and it was heightening it too much essentially. So pretty much I think they nailed that aspect of it. For me, I thought the movie was really cool. Some crazy shit goes down. A really surprising story. Definitely agree with Fitz. It's a very dark story, which I was surprised by. I was hooked. I really liked it. Of course, like the Aussie aspect always helps a little bit, but sometimes undertow that like carries it. For me, like I got such a kick out of watching that movie for that reason. This wasn't that though. Like I enjoyed that aspect of it, but like I would have dug it anyway for sure. Jaden, what about you? Horror connoisseur.
Yeah. I mean, this is the movie that told me to check my emails more often.
Wait, what?
Because I missed out on the premiere offer because I didn't check my emails.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Wow. Heard me bitch about it like the other 15 times.
I swear to God, I've never heard that. Have I been in these calls with you?
No, I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, yeah, I also really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting it to be so hopeless. Everything about you're saying about it, like I was very kind of expecting a kids busty ghost type of thing, but it
Oh,
wasn't.
okay. No.
Um, I thought everything was superb from a bunch of actors I've never heard of. I thought who were all fantastic. Yeah, I don't know. I love the Australian grit of it all and everything that you've been talking about there. I don't like how at the moment it's being looped in as another A24 film. That really annoys me because although it's like thematically similar to some other stuff that in their filmography, this was only picked up by A24 pretty late. You know, this is a very Australian film, very Australian tendencies, and very, you know, I don't know. People calling it, you know, A24 derivative garbage. It really annoys me because I don't know, it isn't. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't move
right.
on.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, you're right about that. A24 picked it up late, like for like US distribution and stuff, right?
Yeah. But no, a really like incredibly solid Australian horror film.
Excellent. Very good. Very good. Something we've all already touched on a little bit, but that was very noticeable to me in the film was the perspective that I think Danny and Michael brought to it as young filmmakers and Gen Z filmmakers. And there, of course, tons of inclusions and little tidbits and, tone that they bring to it and details that they bring to it that stood out to me as authentic and interesting, that sort of made the film have its own voice tonally and setting wise, particularly. Of course, set some in some, I don't know, I guess it's meant to be some like town in South Australia, I think. I don't know. It didn't seem like Adelaide to me,
Nah,
but
I mean to be fair, Adelaide is just a fucking town.
that is very true. So it's either Adelaide or like whatever the second biggest town in Adelaide is, I guess. Oh, in South Australia is probably. Um, so I mean, there's that, but then all the teenage shit, man. You got the social medias, the kids filming everything. The use of Snapchat in this film
Mm.
repulses me. But like all that is to say that like it triggers me, but because that's the kind of person I am. But like it's all done very well. I thought it was all very authentic feeling to the way kids behave, or at least I don't know, like my perception of it, and therefore made the situation feel a lot more real and made the things that the decisions that the characters were making even more obnoxious because I'm like, oh, fuck, kids would do this shit. You know what I mean? It's like, oh god, it didn't feel like I was watching a movie in that sense. It was just like I'm just getting lost in these annoying kids doing this shit, and
Did you watch this? Did you watch this with your brother? And he's just like, oh yeah, that's my mate on the weekend.
oh right, I did watch it with him, and he thank God didn't admit that, but because I'd have to disown him. Yeah, honestly, I just can't with these kids, man. The fact that they all thought, it's the same teenage shit that always happens with me in movies like this, but it's like the fact that they think this is a good idea at all, like, oh, this is fun, what a thrill. It's like, fuck me. Although I guess it is just meant to be like drugs. That is like, I think they're pretty clear, like sort of parallel with the possession aspect with the hand represents and stuff. All that is to say is that how did you guys feel about that particular energy that the film brought, and if it added some realism to you, if it annoyed you? I just wanted to get some thoughts on that because I feel, and there's some Aussie music in the film too, so that sort of unique voice coming through, I guess.
Mm. Yeah. The social media element was really cool. The best thing was that like how they introduced the possession, which was like a throwaway like Instagram story or something. I thought that was pretty genius. How like you just the first time you witness it, you just see it like on a phone, and it's very unsettling even watching it through that because you know that it's gonna like it's not like a trend or anything. It's actually real. So seeing it through that was like pretty genius. I thought.
That's true, and they think it's bullshit, which
Yeah,
you would
I
if you
think
just
it's
saw
like a
it like that.
trend. Yeah.
Yeah. What else did I notice? Obviously, there was like even little things like the kid Leroy's music's in the film, and even little things like when bloody what's his face the brother I'm so blank. Oh, Riley. When he's watching the Sidemen video on YouTube, it's like things like
Oh
that coming
yeah,
through,
yeah.
where it's like that's cool because that's totally something that I could see that character doing or anyone his age doing. Um,
Mm.
Yeah, I love it. I love it's actually exciting to see like an accurate depiction of youth on screen.
Mm.
Because whenever you watch like Yankee products, it all feels all a bit exaggerated. But hey, maybe that's just how they are.
Right.
Whereas like I know that these people like are pretty much dead on with what I don't know kids down here are. That
Yeah.
party at the start might have been slightly exaggerated, I'd say.
I know that was pretty much Riley's party the other day.
Yeah. Other than old mate Corey back in 2008 or whatever when he threw his massive party, but like I don't know, it was really I don't know I just really enjoyed seeing like a fun kind of take on youthful Australian culture because like other ones I've seen where like it's accurate, it's set in Perth and it's about how bored the kids are there and how shit life is, and I'm not even saying that to like piss you off, like it genuinely is what the movie's about. So like to see kids have fun in like an urban environment in an Australian context, it's really nice.
Hey, what film is that?
It's called Galore.
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 As in galore?
As in pussy galore.
That is true. I was actually thinking a bit about that in terms of like, when, we're so used to these teenage things, these high school things, coming of age things, anything that's remotely set with characters of this age group being from Yankee Land. And when they are, like maybe something is lost, to us a little bit. It's like the Americans are always going to resonate with, those kind of films a little bit more because they're American in them. You know what I mean? It's just like, and it's just something that we can't account for or explain until I saw this Australian version of it. And I'm like, it just hits a little bit different, just a little bit, and it's like, it interested me. I was like, maybe if I was American, some of these other films that I think are kind of cringe, like I'd like them a little bit more.
It's ACT, not Perth. I'm sorry.
You really just tried to do me real dirty there.
I thought I'd better fact check myself.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. We already mentioned the party scene at the start. We can get into some cool scenes and stuff that they really, some really cool direction aspects in the movie. I thought the opening party shot was really good, just sort of taking us right into it, into the craziness of it. But of course, like the crazy real standout to it that got me multiple times throughout the movie, the violence got me physically reacting. Of course, when bloody Duggett, is that his name?
Oh,
Duggett?
Duggett.
It's a shit name.
Mm.
Are you just like, you're just taking my word for it?
No, Duckett. That's
it was Duggett.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God. When he stabs his brother and then stabs himself in the freaking face, that was wild, So that was a strong scene, and then that happens multiple times throughout the film with some crazy violent shit that goes down. So I thought all that stuff was handled really well. We can talk about some other scenes, I guess, in that respect, but that was really good. Acting's really good. For me, probably one of the standouts of like the first time I thought, oh, this is really capably done in all aspects was like Mia's first possession scene, probably. And I want to make sure I get the actress. It's Sophie Wilde who plays Mia. I've got the cast list here. That's right. She plays Mia. This is pretty much all the vast majority of the cast, barring
Miranda
Otto. Is that her name?
Yeah.
From Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that little movie.
Yeah, exactly. Barring her, it's pretty much everyone's first film, and I think they all did an exceptional job. Sophie Wilde, probably most so. Yeah, strong performance from her in this possession scene, but also some other standout stuff in it, like the makeup's really good in this movie, and I love. Of course, it's easy to look at the spirits and their crazy ass makeup, but then also just the subtle makeup going on with Mia as well is pretty damn good. As she transforms, or as she, as the spirit possesses her. So yeah, that was probably my strongest earliest scene. And then right away, I knew from that, oh yeah, this is good stuff. How do you guys feel about this particular scene? Any strong aspects of it that stood out?
I don't know. I like how things. It has an element of exaggeration to it, but it's never goofy. You have like the large black eyes, but there is an element of like it is a bit unsettling still, even though it's kind of it's like elevated, but like that. Yeah, that was really, all the possession stuff was really great. And like I mean, I go into the kid bashing himself up.
Oh, yeah.
That was like way more disturbing than anything I saw in like Hereditary or yeah, what these other like modern atmospheric horror films. Partly because it was just so unexpected. Because they kind of set up perfectly the idea that you can't go too far with the possession. You can't go over the time limit. Um, so like
Yeah.
when it did happen, they kind of perfectly hit the I don't know, yeah, they hit the nail on the head of like what the consequences was. So that was really great. That was really like shocking.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the other interesting part of that is like the rules of that in terms of, I presume, the guys that Joss and whoever the other person was, who have the hand. Like, did they
Mm.
just make up this 90-second rule? It's like,
Well,
where's
I'd
it
say
coming from?
it was quite a bit of trial and error and finding out who died.
Right. No, that's disturbing. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Itself,
I
absolutely.
guess Duckett either went over 90. No, he probably did blow out the candle actually, because he still saw the spirits. But
Yeah, the candle. That's another
he also
factor.
did kind of feel kind of possessed, so maybe he was over 90. I don't know. But yeah, I imagine it's just trial and error until your mates
God,
don't
that's
die.
yeah, probably. Yeah, that's crazy. How did you like the violent aspect of it, Jane? Because like when Riley starts bashing his head, that was another one of those violent scenes I was talking about that got me.
Yeah, that doesn't really surprise me. I think I think there are a lot of young people that are calling it violent, but they're just a bit unaware of what the genre can do. They're a bit naive to say.
Oh, okay. You're calling us out.
Yeah.
Or...
No, it definitely was shocking because I wasn't expecting it to kind of burst out of nowhere. But yeah, it was
yeah,
nice. To be honest, and kind of blunt. But that kind of that whole possession montage is kind of probably like where the film excels the most at filmmaking, and I think it's one of the best like things I've seen in like not a long time because I've seen a lot of great shit, but it is just one of the best things I've seen because I think like it's such an effective montage in using the medium as well. Like, it's not just clips thrown together. It's using the camera as it tracks them and as it continues to like tell the brief story of that night and what is happening.
yeah,
It's all super effective and I think like really really brilliant montage. It's like that scene with the music and then Riley bashing his head afterwards and then like the kind of like the emotional reveal just before that. Sorry about Mia's mum as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Like that little chunk is brilliant.
yeah. That all works really well with that tension because, like, with the 90 seconds. Then Mia's mum starts supposedly talking to her, and it's like, well, okay, you understand why she would want to continue the connection, then how traumatizing that would be, and how surreal that would be. But yeah, of course, that all builds the tension of you got to break it, and then that's what causes the whole thing, really. So yeah, no, that shit was disastrous. Anything to do with significant head trauma like that Riley, that happens to him when he's possessed. Uh, yeah, that particular stuff really gets to me, violence wise, because
You should
then
watch
obviously,
Hereditary.
oh god, is it? Shit. But anyway, Fitzy said this was worse than Hereditary.
Oh, for me, this was like more disturbing.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it probably is
Wow.
like more in your face ish about it.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, this was tough for that reason. And obviously, when they do it again, in the shower at the hospital, that was a crazy scene too.
oh,
That
wow.
was probably that might have been worse actually, to be honest. But well, they were both pretty bad. But of course, then the makeup then on Riley, Riley's sort of look for the rest of the film with all the makeup they had going on with him,
Yeah.
was crazy. And like, because didn't he pulled one of his eyes out, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, his look for the rest of the film was really really fantastic with the makeup, but because it was fucking horrifying. Um, so yeah, that was one particular aspect of the violence and the makeup. What about the actual like the spirits though?
I think that glimpse we get into the spirit world is probably like one of my other favorite kind of parts of the film, and I think it's absolutely extraordinary as well.
Do
Like
you mean like when like all the bodies are crowded together?
yeah,
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
it is just dark and sweaty and gross, and kind of everyone's just clawing at him, and it is, and like, you can see like, oh dude, I just think it's like a brilliant, like, I don't know, vision of hell. Like one of the best kind of like little glimpses to the other side of seeing any film. You know, like it's awesome,
Mm,
like really genuinely awesome, that little bit.
that's very true. It's like, I must admit, like when the first spirits show up, like when Mia sees her first one, who's like, the older lady. I was kind of like, in terms of the look of them, like the makeup was again extraordinary, one of the strongest technical aspects here. But it was kind of like, does this look a bit silly? Like, was it a bit too much? Like, because she
Yeah.
kind of looked like she had like bubbles on her face, or you know what I mean? It was
She
kind of
looked
a
like
bit
a
like,
bog from like The Witcher. Yeah,
yes,
one of those.
yeah,
Yeah.
she exactly. She looks like a, like, what do they call, like a crone or something, whatever,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. The things that live by the swamp.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I thought, my first instinct was that was a bit too much, maybe, like stylistically. But interestingly, when we get to the end, which I definitely want to talk about in detail, like, and Mia ends up, being in that spot, ends up being the spirit, for someone else, and what she looks like at that point, because I'd sort of been on that journey with her makeup and her continued decay, basically, in her face, to then get to that point. It sort of justified it. It was like, oh, I tracked how Mia got to looking like this, and it made perfect sense to me. So then, like, I could see, like, if we were to follow these other characters, that sort of looked maybe a bit too much to me at first. Like, they probably had some crazy shit happen to them too that sort of got them there. So anyway, I guess that's just to say that I thought that by the time we got to the end with Mia's look as well, that was
Mm.
pretty strong. Yeah. I feel like there's a lot going on in this movie, actually. I feel like there's a lot being said, and I'm really curious about it. So, in terms of the themes of the film, and the whole ending was a trip, and it was a fun trip, but um, in terms of just how dark it was, I really liked that aspect of it. We've talked about it a little bit already, but it really was a holy shit sort of ending for me. But there are still some aspects of it I can't quite square. So right to the end, when Mia violently gets hit by the car, which was a great scene, and really startled me, actually. Like like when we cut into the driver's perspective, that was really cool. But I don't quite know, like, why did she jump? Well, first of all, did she jump? Did Jade push her? That was sort of my first question right away, in terms of like what actually happened in that moment. What do you guys think?
I took it as Jet pushed her.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. Because I guess suicide is sort of another core theme of the film, I think. So I sort of thought maybe she jumped, and like chose not to, not to take bloody Riley with her.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
But Jade pushing her, that
Possible.
sort of does make more sense, I guess, in a way. So I guess in that sense, Mia basically sort of straight up becomes like the villain of this movie, in a way.
Mm.
Just becoming possessed, trying to take everyone out in the end. She was obviously listening to the spirits in doing so. At least is that what you guys think was going on at the end? Like, she sort of got fully consumed by them and just started doing their bidding, basically.
Yeah. So my question is like, are all of the spirits demonic? Is the mom ever benevolent, or is she always just? Is that always just like a disposition she's assuming, or is it,
but
is
isn't
that, is
that
that
what we're
even
told? Isn't we're told that it's mimicking the mum, not it's not actually the mum?
okay? So like the mom that was being the mom which was not the mom which was mimicked was also, I guess she led her to killing her dad as well for telling
Yeah,
her it was a mimic. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
but
That was all
yeah,
bullshit.
that's kind of what I was wondering because like yeah, I was wondering if it was like just like a simple case of like devil's facade kind of thing, or if there was like ever any like genuine connection with like the dead. But well,
Yeah,
it is in a sense. But yeah,
yeah. They don't really like. Apparently, there's a prequel and a second one already been working on. So I imagine
yeah,
those would go into more of the lore of the other side. Because I think that's like probably like the one thing that this movie kind of skipped on. Not that it needed it, because I think they did a brilliant job working the law of real life. But yeah, I think in regards to all that stuff, I reckon that's probably gonna be answered soon.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities there. I guess on that, it is odd to me how. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I definitely did take it that the spirits aren't like the people themselves. You know, they are some sort of, gross misrepresentation of them in some way, I guess. Because, like, yeah, it is a trick, the whole thing. That's what I took, I
But
took
like,
the reveal of Mia's mum having written the letter as that, like she did intend to kill herself, you know, which suggests that the spirit is lying,
Mm.
but like maybe, but maybe it becomes like a spirit at the end, which made me think that sometimes these are just like real people at the other side, you know?
Right, right. Because yeah, that is interesting. So then, like, yeah, who is Mia at the end then? What is it? Yeah, yeah. Is that
Right?
still
Is she just
her?
like
Is it
totally possessed?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is an interesting point because when we follow her perspective at the end, it's sort of. I mean, we don't really get enough because it sort of just ends. So I guess we don't fully understand it, but I sort of it does feel like it is just Mia at the end. Obviously in a different realm or whatever, but in a
Hmm.
different plane. But it does feel like it's her.
Maybe because
Um,
maybe because there are good spirits. Maybe sorry, maybe there are good spirits, but maybe because of the way that Riley was dying is the reason that it attracted so many violent ones, right? And like that's what we were seeing, like the kind of fucked up ones. Because you know how they're saying like when like if he dies, they get his body or whatever. They get him forever. Like maybe
Hmm.
oh yes, yep, yep.
that's probably why we don't really see any good spirits. There might have been some in the possessions like that they do, and that might be why they keep on doing the possessions. But then if you get a bad one, then maybe that locks in, and
Oh, okay, interesting. So then, what would that mean for Mia's mum? What does that? You know what I mean? What
Well,
does
I
that
think at that
make?
point, I think we need to always assume that it was never Mia's mum. It was always a mimic, right?
So okay, okay. Wait, so am I misunderstanding what you're saying? So then, how does that come about?
So like you're rolling the dice every time, right? And let's say a one is a good spirit, and then the other five are bad spirits, right? So you might be getting a good spirit every 1/6, but then every other one is going to be bad.
You mean when you interact with the hand?
Yeah, and but like I'm just saying, like the reason we don't see any good spirits after that is because Riley has already been hurt, and now all the bad spirits are getting attracted.
Oh, okay, okay.
Maybe who knows?
So why is mum's a bad? Why is Mia's mum a bad spirit? Like why? What is she?
Because she's
Why is
already
she
a
doing
mimic
this?
at that point. I'm saying. I'm saying.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I guess why would she be?
Well, I don't know. It makes sense that they're all bad spirits because it's obviously like a satanic ritual, I guess.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
and then like the first when she first sees her mom, it's not her because she's trying to basically make the kid stay longer. But I guess that they did say that they like the kid, so like when the kid does the possession, they like put on this extra show so that they can get him. You know.
Yeah,
So maybe they have preferences. Who knows?
yeah.
Oh, they have preferences. They had a preference for the kid and not the Christian kid. They wanted the kid who was like going to parties at an early age, but they didn't want the good Christian boy. Yeah.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, he never.
Mm.
That shit didn't happen to him. Yeah, that's true. Um,
Well, they
interesting.
did directly say that, like they don't like him. The spirits don't like you.
Oh, that's right. That's true. So then, yeah, I guess all this doesn't paint a nice picture for Mia at the end, then, does it? I mean, not. I mean, she died. It's not. That's not nice. But I mean, in terms of her afterlife existence.
No, yeah, it's a pretty depressing ending. Yeah.
Yeah, really depressing. Honestly, I was definitely not expecting her to die. First of all, maybe I don't know if there's more significance with Mia's mum in terms of the suicide themes. I feel like there is. Another sort of core. I guess if you take that, and I'm trying to see if some of these ideas can be combined or not. There's that, And then there's, of course, the other recurring motif in the film is sort of the idea of the kangaroo and putting it out of its misery. And that comes back, of course, when you literally see the kangaroo again in the hospital. Like, should she kill Riley, And ultimately, like, that is, I think, right, like the spirits encouraging her to do that as a negative thing to do, because it's like, because it'll then what? Because then if Riley dies, then the spirits get him, and shit. They're trying to basically stir her on to do it. So I didn't know if there was, I don't know, some sort of interesting commentary at play there, perhaps, about making sure you don't put roadkill out of their misery. You know what I mean?
But isn't that like, isn't that the kind thing to do? Isn't that what you're meant to be doing?
Well, I actually wrote it down already before I knew it was going to become significant at the end, because I thought it was an interesting, like, moral conundrum, I suppose. I don't know. A lot of people probably feel that way. I personally would never put the animal out of its misery, personally. But maybe that's controversial. I don't really know.
Well, I think that kind of plays on later on, because Mia keeps saying, wait, I think I might have just tuned out. What were you saying about Mia later on? How are you saying it links?
Oh, I'm not sure how it links, other than like the spirits are encouraging her to kill Riley.
Yeah.
Which is under the guise that, you're putting him out of his misery, but really they just want him. That's what they're saying.
But at the end, it looks like she's about to relinquish, right? It looks like she's about to stop, yeah. And she takes her hands off the wheelchair, right? And it looks like she's going to stop. It looks like she decides that she can't stop, right? She can't do it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's why at the end it feels kind of more like she kind of did kind of escape the grasp before, maybe it was only going to be momentary. And then it kind of did feel like Jade killed her. So maybe she does become vengeful, or like kind of, a retribution kind of spirit in that sense.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh, wait, hang on. So do you mean that could have redeemed her spirit in a way?
Sorry?
Do you think that then could have led her to become a positive spirit? Like whatever word you want to use, like a redeemed spirit?
No, the opposite.
Wait, really?
What? Yeah, because she got killed by her best friend.
Oh, okay. I see. Right. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying, like, to be consistent, like, because she didn't give in the end, she sort of rejected the spirit's calling in her head.
Yeah.
In the end, but then she still got shoved, right? But like, I don't know. Maybe I thought you were like getting to the opposite result of that. Okay.
Yeah. No. So she saved herself ish, but then she gets killed by a friend, and maybe that makes her
Yeah.
And then she feels embittered by them all leaving in the hospital. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, that's interesting. No, her putting her hands off the wheelchair, I actually sort of forgot about that. That is significant. I feel that's important. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, like I said, like just trying to put together those ideas a bit more I guess in a bit more of a real life scenario. I'm just like legitimately the closest thing I can come up to is like Danny and Michael wouldn't kill the kangaroo. You know what I mean? I'm like, what does that mean? I feel like they're saying something here.
I feel like Danny and Michael would definitely fucking kill the kangaroo. I don't know, I don't know how they come across in their interviews, but like if you ever watch their videos, like
right.
They're fucking physical.
Mate, we'd fucking shoot that kangaroo right up, like okay.
That was a good voice for them. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've been listening only because I've been listening to them. Yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting. Maybe we can figure out ways to continue solving this puzzle, because something that I was listening to them a lot, basically trying to get answers to these questions. And they were not really giving me much in this particular area that we've just been talking about. So that's why I wanted to bring it up. But one thing that they did talk about, which may be related, well, it must be related in some way, is the fact that they mentioned twice in separate interviews I listened to that the core theme of the film for them is basically about authentic relationships and rejecting them, rejecting inauthentic relationships and accepting true relationships in people's lives. And the obvious ones for me are, she rejects her dad all the time. that never comes around. Actually, you know, that's actually one of the things I was totally expecting. You know, that to be an arc. You know what I mean? But that was just no. She just fucking stabbed her down. That was it. So that ended up really bad. But then they specifically talked about like the hand is meant to you reach out to it and you hold it. It's like it's meant to represent false relationship, basically, that you accept into your life. And I thought, I was sort of trying to think about that a little bit more, and I sort of thought, okay, that sort of makes sense in terms of like why she then listens to the spirits and sort of lets them guide her, and maybe you can draw parallels to that. I guess if you look at like the teenage setting and the party setting of the film, and you sort of obviously they all get high on the hand in a way, and you can sort of, you know, suggest they're saying something about peer pressure and, you know, letting bad, inauthentic people into your life and listening to them and doing terrible shit with it. You know, I think there's something to be said about that. But yeah, that's just what I picked up from some of their interviews. I don't know how that might relate to some of these other ideas, but if they're, you know, if they're saying don't let shit people into your life and don't do drugs, I mean, pretty, you know, good messages, I guess. But I don't know, all that sort of does sound reductive in its own way as well. So I was curious about that.
I don't know, but I like the idea that she's like a clingy person, and that's how she like that's how they set up that she's like that's how she copes with you know her mom's death, kind of, and that's kind of the quality that leads her to cling to the spirits, I guess. But the relationship between her and her friend seemed like the friend was like, you know, a decent person. It seemed like, so it didn't seem like she was having like an inauthentic relationship in that way. But like maybe in the way that she clinged to her was like the inauthenticity of it, you know, instead of like in place of like ignoring her dad, that was like the main issue pre-possession, I guess, with her.
Right. I didn't, yeah. I mean, ignoring her dad was definitely the issue, pre-possession. Yeah, I know. I didn't interpret the. I mean, you could definitely argue maybe that like that was an interesting way to reveal that aspect of her personality. You know, because she does straight up like basically live with this other family. You know, as a means to cope. Basically, it sort of seems like. So that's very true. I didn't view the relationship as Jade as a negative one, though.
No, it didn't seem that negative, but
no,
it seemed like the seeds of something negative were there. You know what I mean?
Well, then she fucking pushed her off the freeway. So, yeah, potentially that is true, and that sort of did become a bit of a melodrama in the film. You know, with like the whole like you're sleeping with my boyfriend. That was one particular layer to the story I didn't really need personally, just because it felt like there were like 5 other elements to the plot that were all like quite interesting and supernatural and all this, and then there was sort of that 6th one that was there too, and I'm like, yeah, you could have cut that one. Made it feel a bit cliche, but maybe, I don't know, maybe the idea is to make it more like relatable in some way. I don't know. Bit more, maybe you needed something that wasn't some aspect of the dynamic that wasn't just the crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just the lady putting your foot. You know what I mean? When she was eating the foot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. The spirit putting the foot in the mouth of that kid, the Christian kid.
Sure, the spirit did it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We said a whole lot there. Basically, I said a whole lot there. But I do think the film does have a fair bit to say about teenage, you know, relationships, mental health, suicide. I think all these things are sort of tied up in what the film is about. And you take out the supernatural elements, and I think there's something there quite strongly, you know, dealing with grief and all that kind of shit that makes the film connect. Even if I don't have all the answers, you know. Jane's looking at me like he's got no fucking clue what I'm talking about, but no, that's fine.
No.
So I don't know. There was a cool hand in it. Fair enough. Speaking of the hand, what do you reckon? You already brought it up, Jane. What are the possibilities for the sequel that you'd want to see most?
Well, I wouldn't want to see another group of kids going through the cycle again.
I feel like that's kind of likely, though, don't you?
Yeah, I'm worried that is kind of likely, and like you need to do something special if you're going to do that again, and then try to play it off as, I don't know, exciting.
Mm.
I don't know where you take this, because a sequel and a prequel in the plans, right?
Is that true? I know there is another film coming.
Well, Letterboxd has both listed. I don't know.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I think a prequel going back too far could be interesting, but also could be really bad. Like if you go back to the original, medium.
Yeah, I don't really need that personally.
No. But at the same time, like, what are you going to do in between?
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to see this similar story again, you know?
Yeah, good point. I do actually really like, it's a tiny choice, but I do really like the choice at the end to have like the people that then next connect with the hand and me as there, like be Greek.
That's literally just Oakley. Like it's literally just Melbourne, man. Like it's
Oh, is it actually?
I don't know what I'm saying. It could be because there's so many Greek people down this way.
No, of course there are Greek people, but to me the choice sort of suggested that it was like the hand can be anywhere kind of thing. Yeah. Like it's like it's international vibes, you know. So like I thought that was cool. So that like opened sort of its own little world of possibilities right at the end. But yeah.
Well, to be fair, yeah. What well-renowned medium is there in fucking Australia? Have their hands sliced off and embalmed.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I don't know. I feel like Mia sort of might be involved in some way too, you know, in the future. But the other main takeaway from the interviews I was listening to was that Danny and Michael were talking a lot about how they, like, first of all, pumped about making another movie. Like to them, they were talking about it like they'd make 5 of these movies, which was cool because they basically created. They have the whole mythology of the hand. They know it all. Like they have this. They call it like a Bible, you know, of like they know all the lore about it that they wrote out. So, yeah. So like they were like a lot of the interviews I was also listening to was before the sequel was greenlit. Because you know it was around the film festivals and shit, and they were saying over and over again, if we get the chance to make another one, if someone will pay for it, we'd love to do it. So, and they got it. So, yeah, it's just about what they, you know, that's cool, but it's just about what they choose to do. At least I have some confidence in that they have a fair few ways to go with their ideas, I guess.
They're pretty creative blokes if you've seen their YouTube channel, so you know,
right?
They can do some stuff.
When you asked last week if I'd seen their videos, I didn't realize, but I have. I didn't realize they were the people that did the WWE moves in public videos. Oh. I've seen those videos before. And I didn't realize it was them. That's hilarious. Yeah, like they go to like, and they're just always in like Australian like CBDs doing it, you know. So yeah, that's a funny connection there for sure. Luke wrote in a review for Talk to Me, and he said, a bit underwhelming. I thought it would be more horror. I even watched it at night and it wasn't scary. Too much hooting and hollering. What did he give it? Oh, he gave it a 5 out of 10, I think, on Letterboxd. I guess I can understand that. Like, I didn't personally find the film scary, but like I found it we were talking about the violence aspect of it confronting, and yeah. But you know, I'm not that kind of person. I don't really watch horror movies for scares and thrills anyway, so that stuff didn't bother me. But I guess I can sort of see it. Jan, how do you respond to the scare factor?
I just think Spooky's spooky, and you know, I just don't think we're ever gonna align.
Spooky wasn't spooked enough.
No. Mm-hmm. Actually, let me just it's like you commented on the Australian music before.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Yeah, because it was like, well, I know it's the Kid Laroi. Was there like it wasn't Hilltop Hoods, was it? It was something like that. I sort of thought.
Like
I don't know.
Aussie drill, Aussie hip hop. It's all a bit meh for me. Because like the production's fine, but then as soon as they start like rapping in their Aussie accent, it's really horrible, you know.
Oh yeah, no, sorry, I should say as a genre of music, I agree with you. I wouldn't listen to it, but like I thought it fit the film.
It did fit the film well.
Yeah.
Just whenever I hear it, I just think like what shit are you talking? Like especially like that one where it's like, you know, we do it in Brizzy and they get blamed us in Sydney, and they blame us in Melbourne and they do it in Sydney. And I'm like, what the fuck are you getting blamed for? Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like you know, like you're role playing as if like, you know, this is America or something like it's not. Like, calm down, man. Like,
it's Compton, yeah.
Yeah, Brizzy. Well, I'm glad you remembered that because that was a spot on impersonation of it too. Oh god. Okay. All right, let's get to our final verdicts for Talk to Me. Fitzy.
I'll give the film a 7 out of 10. I feel like some of the issues are a bit unresolved, but it's still a
Yeah.
great just experience in general. So yeah, 7 out of 10.
I'll slap an 8 on it. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Unresolved is definitely how it feels, especially even after the whole conversation I attempted to bring up about the themes feels unresolved. No doubt about that. But I don't know. Again, like sort of, I feel like there's been a few films like this a few weeks in a row that have sort of been like this. Like The Killer was sort of one where
And
it's
Leo.
like, and of course,
Mm.
where it's like, yeah, unresolved, but left me a lot to think about. Still felt like a complete experience, though. Like I didn't feel
Yeah.
unsatisfied with it or anything, and I also don't want to. I don't want to play down how much I did actually like the shower scene, the car, the me getting hit by the car, the opening scene. Like I did physically react to these scenes; they were very impactful to me. So, yeah, I'll slap an 8 on it for those reasons. Jaden.
I'm gonna go 8 as well. I don't have an issue with anything being unresolved because I kind of like where the movie leaves us with everything, but I just feel like it loses its footing probably in the third act. Not significantly, but it just feels like a tightness that was present in the first half, the first 2/3. It feels like it disappears, and when Mia really starts losing it, I feel like the movie just loses track a little bit too. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, I really liked it when Mia, like when that aspect of it when she's in the hospital. But do you mean like more so when she's like at the Christian dude's house? Oh no, so when the Christian dude's at her house, and then like with the stuff with her dad? Because that I sort of get what you mean if that's the area you're
Partly,
talking.
yeah. I just think I just think they lose. How do I do? If it feels like they're almost like it's like they're on a train and they change the gauge, right? And the track they're meant to go on is only slightly deviating from the track they are going on, But I feel like
Okay.
it ends up impacting me.
Got it. There is something to be said for that. I did briefly say it, but like she does kill her dad, right? Or does he not die?
I think he doesn't die.
Right. She
I
does
think
stab
Jade
her
gets there
dad.
in time. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That I mean, that's pretty crazy, to be honest. Like that almost feels like with all the shit that happened at the end, it's like almost easy to forget that, but like that was sort of a crazy scene in itself.
The thing is, like, because like she blames her dad for being absent, but then like every time we see him, he kind of is trying to make attempts to open up.
Oh yeah, he's putting in a good effort. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Again, rejecting the true relationships in her life, Chad.
Yeah, good point, sir.
Thank you very much. Well done.
I should say good point, Michael and Danny.
Yeah, exactly. Like literally just 100%. No original analysis here. Let's get into news chat. We got a couple trailers to talk about. More than a couple, actually. We got. We'll quickly just jump into Fallout first because we did talk about this last week. Literally, I think it was less than 24 hours after we talked about it, they just dropped the trailer. So that was nice of them. Jaden, what did you think of this trailer?
I loved it. I really loved it. I thought it was great. I'm a big Fallout 4 fanboy, and as you may know, and so the fact that this is following Fallout 4's aesthetic is fucking banging. I think Ella looks great. I think the Brotherhood looks great. I think everything about it looks fantastic. Walton looks great. A lot of people are taking issue with a lot of it, which surprised me because when I watched this, I just thought everything was just spot on. But no, yes, I did love this trailer a lot.
Yes, I liked it a lot too. I don't want to repeat myself too much from last week because a lot of the visual stuff's the same from the images, and that's all still very good. So I guess it was mainly getting a sense of the tone of the vibe and what they did with the music, and it's like, oh yeah, that, and it's like, so that was sort of the next aspect to learn about, and yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. Really thought they understood it well in the trailer. So hell yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm very in. I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they do with it. Did you get the chance? Did you watch this, Fitzy?
No.
Okay. Cool. No, that's fine. So yes, that's coming out in April. So get hyped for that. Speaking of Amazon, they of course dropped a teaser for The Boys season 4 You did watch this one though, Fitzy. What do you think?
Yeah, I did watch this one. Yeah, no, it was good. What happened in it again? There was some.
Homelander and his kid, were they there?
I
Standing
don't know.
up
Yeah, it
on
looks like a
stage or something?
pretty standard progression of the story. I guess it feels like they're getting to the point where like more stuff needs to change though, like especially with Homelander, because like how many barriers can he break? You know, like before he is just a villain. So it feels like the season where they need to pick a pick a road. You know, is he a
That's a good point.
fully fledged villain or not? So, but yeah, it was a good trailer. You know, the trailers for the boys are always good. Like the Heroes vs Villains season 3 trailer was sick. This trailer it introduced some new side characters, which look pretty cool. So yeah, looks good.
Cool. Did you watch this one, Jaden?
Yeah, I kind of skipped through it. Kind of because of what Liam's saying about like how it feels kind of sameish. But yeah, I think you're right in saying like that this is the season they need to do something with the character because you can't get away with it the way that you do in comics, where you can keep on telling the same story over and over, and just kind of introduce a character and do a little twist like this because it gets stale too fast for television. They've been safe so far, but yeah.
Yeah, but like I just hope they don't do that and don't like introduce another seasoned villain or another soldier boy or whoever the Nazi chick was in season 2.
Right. Yeah.
But there will be there will be like another character like that, but hopefully they're not as central to the plot and like just there to be taken down, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah,
I don't want to spoil it
that's good.
if you talk about the Covenant in your highlights, Shannon, but how much of a surprise was Anthony Starr popping up in that?
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah. I feel like he kind of does that though. Like even in the horror movie I watched the other week, Cobweb, like he just rocks up like as like the main dad. I'm like, oh, dude, what?
Oh, really? Yeah, cool. No, he's always fun. Am I the only one who watched this House of the Dragon trailer?
I watched it.
Oh, cool. Yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks good. Looks like they're fully, gonna revolve the story around dealing with the fallout of what happened in the last episode, I guess, which makes perfect sense. Some I think there was some like magic introduced. Which did Hot D have like magical characters? I can't remember, but it looks
so,
cool
no.
anyway. And we're gonna get like there was another kid on a dragon, so we're gonna get like dragon battles or whatever. They're like the big means of power, I guess, the A bombs. So have a bit of a Cold War. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Looks good.
I feel like, I really enjoyed season 1. I feel like that story, when we had the first half of it with the younger cast and then it aged up and then sort of grew and blossomed from there in terms of like expanding the cast of different players. And we sort of got, because then like obviously Allison then had all her kids and shit, and that sort of opened it up in the last few episodes. And now I feel like this trailer sort of sets the stage for like, obviously, yes, the conflict to come set up at the end of last season, but now it's like, I feel like now all the players are here, it's like they've arrived and it's like everyone's on the table basically now. It's sort of, I'm sure there'll be new characters too, but I just mean like the core dynamics at play. We sort of met them growing up and now it's like they're here. Let's see what they do, So, yeah, obviously it looks amazing. So I am very excited. It comes out in about middle of next year, I think. So
Is
that
it
is great.
is it crazy that I did not hear one whisper of a trailer or any kind of news about this dropping at all?
Well, I don't know. I definitely did.
Like yeah, but like I didn't see it. Reddit, Twitter.
Yeah, it's crazy you didn't see it on
Instagram,
Reddit. That's
YouTube. I didn't see it on anything. It was not promoted to me a single time.
Really? I don't know.
Not promoted, not posted, not talked about in any kind of capacity at all.
That's odd. That is odd. I don't know. It's just something about
I just showed up my
about
YouTube.
your poor taste.
Mm.
Well, actually, it's because the algorithm knows through the last episode that we did on it that you don't like it.
I listened to you.
It doesn't recommend it to you. Something I'm sure it did push to you though, Jan, was Godzilla and Kong: The New Empire.
Yes.
What do you think of this one?
Like, dude, I'm like when I say I saw like a few clips, like it's not an exaggeration. But like,
so you didn't actually watch the trailer?
no.
Oh, my apologies.
But I did see. Did you see the shot of like Godzilla and Kong like running at some like space base or some shit?
Yeah, I did comment
Yeah.
that on the Discord. It was pretty funny. Yeah.
But I saw
That's
people
all. I
taking
didn't
issue
watch
with
it.
that. But like a lot of people taking issue with it, like because it's goofy. But then like everyone came to the defense, and like Godzilla's always been goofy, like fucking drop kicking animals and stuff like that in like the original like Godzilla stuff. So
Drop kicking animals?
well, his enemies, you know.
I need to see that shit. That sounds hilarious.
But there's like so many Godzilla movies that you can like kind of say anything and justify it with like something that's previously come before, you know.
True.
What's that?
Yeah.
What's it called in law when you do that? Precedent, legal precedent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was good. It looked fun. It looked bigger and better than Godzilla versus Kong. So I hope it is.
Cool. Okay. What are they like teaming up against?
Oh, I can't remember. People were commenting it, but it was yeah. I think wasn't it like a big? It was like a big monkey, wasn't it? That the baby in the trailer. I don't know.
Oh, it's going to be like another monster. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. It won't be a human, Zach.
Good point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Interesting. Is Skarsgård still around?
I think I saw him in the background for like 1 second. So yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. That might get me there. Now it's time for our highlights of the week, I suppose. Jaden, what have you been watching?
I've been. Oh, dude, I was meant to search up her name so I don't say it wrong. Before this, but I've been watching a lot of products with Io in it. Io,
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I don't know. Like I started watching The Bear season 1. No, I finished The Bear season 1. Sorry, I started and I finished it. She rocked up in theater camp. She was the voice in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I like
who's she in Turtle? Sorry,
she's April O'Neil.
Really?
Yeah. And I was just gonna say, like, she is fantastic. She's brilliant in everything. Even her little role in theater camp. I'm very excited to watch Bottoms for her. Yeah, she's been my highlight of the week because she just keeps on popping up.
Cool. So was some of these a coincidence or?
Well, yeah, because like I didn't know she was in any of these. Like I started
Really?
the Bear, the Bear, and she rocked up, and I was like, oh, cool. And then and I was watching theater camp, and like I saw that she had like she was on like one of the top like kind of like castings where she had maybe like a minute of screen time. Liam, you reckon?
No, she was there a bit.
No, she wasn't. She had like 3 jokes like teaching a class, and like at the end performance, and then when Jimmy Tatro introduced her.
I mean, they cut back to her a bit. She was comic relief for sure.
Yeah. But but it was still exciting to see her there. And then as April, like at the end of the film, I was like, I know that voice.
That's crazy.
And then she rocks up.
So
funny.
That's hilarious. I love that. All right. Well, what was the top of her products?
The Bear, 100%. Everything you guys say is right. Everything everyone says is right. It is brilliant. It is fantastic.
I'm not. I don't want you to throw me in this. I'm not like I don't love The Bear.
Oh, what, you don't? Oh shit. No, sorry.
I think it's good. I think it's good.
Oh.
Liam, you're 100% right. Everything you say is right.
I threw myself under the bus then. I just didn't want anything misrepresented. I didn't want anyone saying, I heard Zach 3 episodes ago say he thought The Bear was pretty good.
I actually thought you loved The Bear, like season 1 at least.
I thought I did like season 1 better, but like I still didn't love it.
Okay.
What should I talk? I can talk about Napoleon, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Do you guys want me to talk about Napoleon, or is that like you don't want spoilers? I don't know. Oh, well, I won't spoil it, but you know what I mean. I don't know.
Just read it.
No, just it's history, Zach. You can't spoil it.
I just so disagree with that. I'm sure you do too. But okay, so a few things with Napoleon. I did really like it. The action sequences are phenomenal. So I was confronted with the reality. I knew Ridley Scott's obviously an old gentleman, you know what I mean? When I was confronted with the reality after seeing this film, that this man is 86 years old today, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I it's truly astonishing to me that this man is doing this shit. Love me some Clint. Don't get me wrong. This is on a whole new level. This is 5 times bigger than any production that Clint's made in the last 20 years, so just truly exceptional stuff there. Joaquin, so, you got good stuff there. But for me, the film sort of pacing-wise, as someone who knows nothing about Napoleon and was going into the film interested to learn about him, it failed me a little bit in areas just because it skips over aspects that were like key questions I was having, and sort of, I don't know if it's meant to be like assumed knowledge or what the philosophy behind some of these choices are in terms of things to include and not include, but there were noticeable spaces where I'm like, okay, hang on, now he's just doing this, but like I feel like I just missed 5 years, and then like why is he doing this now? And it's like that happens a few times, so that was tricky for me to sort of deal with. It sort of made me feel like I sort of needed to do my homework about the guy beforehand, which wasn't exactly what I was after. But at the same time, then coming out of the film, I was listening to some interviews with Ridley, and one of my favorite film podcasts did an interview with him, and it came up that there's a 4-hour cut of this movie. And apparently it's going to be released on Apple. And it's one of those few situations where I'm like, oh, I definitely want to watch that, because I feel like almost just, I can feel it in the film, in the theatrical cut, that I can almost feel the missing spaces where it's like, oh, I think that cut's going to give me what I want in terms of these story questions and stuff that it's left a little bit unexplored. Because there are just, again, some assumed knowledge things, I think, some timeline things where it's like, wow, we really did just sort of jump ahead into this next conflict that I sort of don't understand how it even came about in the first place. But I don't care, because it's a 15-minute incredible battle sequence there. I just don't really understand exactly why he's fighting these people right now. Exactly. So anyway, that happens a few times. I hope the 4-hour cut might resolve it. I actually do genuinely really want to watch that cut. So even though I didn't love the film, the cut I watched, I am optimistic that, yeah, an extended version of it might actually improve my issues with it. So obviously we'll have to wait and see. But yes, visually, production-wise, Napoleon is an achievement. It is unbelievable. Ridley Scott putting the shit out. Are you guys keen to see it, by the way?
Napoleon.
Like, how high is it on your watch list?
I've been put off by some like bad reviews, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And also by, that Japanese Criterion Closet channel, which like Killing Murphy did a video for.
Yeah.
Well, there was like a thing with Joaquin Phoenix and Ridley Scott, and in the first like minute, they talk about how they didn't talk to each other about the character. And I was like, huh. So that kind of put me off as well. But
that is fair enough. I personally didn't feel any of that watching the film, but like that is pretty funny. So yes. Anyway, Fitzy, what did you watch?
I guess I watched Still Life. I watch it in bits and pieces. This film on Stan. It's about this council worker who tries to find relatives of the dead and like puts together a funeral for them. And it's got Eddie Marsan, who is like, he's a really underrated actor. He's usually just like a background character actor, and I've never seen him in a starring role like this. So he was very good as a kind of, humble, quiet man. Yeah, the film's nothing special really. I mean, there is some cool production design. It's very like neat at times. It's very like it's pretty picturesque, I guess, and pretty like just well framed in general. Yeah, I don't know, not something watch right away, but still a decent British film. Social realism. It's very like Mike Lee.
Oh, okay. Eddie Marsan. So this is Fair Play, man.
Yeah, but he's in like everything.
Yeah, I'd seen him a ton. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
He's got a very recognizable face.
Liam can name at least 3 movies that he's also in.
Sherlock Holmes 2, and The Professor and the Madman, but that's no. What are you thinking of?
No, I'm just saying because you played him in Sinner 2 Nerdle.
Oh,
You played that movie.
oh, did I? Oh, right.
Holy shit, he's in so many movies I've seen. He's just like always there.
Yeah, I was watching like a bit of this random movie after I'd watched Still Life, and I'm like, I was thinking that how he just appears, and then he fucking appeared as like a prison, guard escorting Sean Penn. So I was like, yeah, fuck.
Yeah, right. Very good. Now comes the segment where we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week, we asked you, if you could talk to anyone in human history, have a chat, who would it be? Now, these answers took the question in a few problematic directions. Andy's, I mean. But the thing about this question also is that, I don't know if you guys knew this but when we came up with the question, but I didn't know what the premise of this film was. I was just going off of the fact it was called Talk to Me, right? So I didn't understand it was actually, you could actually communicate with the dead in it, or like that was, an aspect of it. So like knowing that, it probably should have been dead people only, to be honest. But anyway, doesn't matter. I didn't understand it, so it's whatever. I guess we got this chaotic mess instead. Andy said, my initial answer was Gromit from Wallace and Gromit, but I remembered he doesn't have a mouth. I definitely would have drop kicked Wallace, the useless shithead, for him. But the person I would love to have a conversation with the most is the farmer from Shaun the Sheep. And then I needed to clarify in the Discord that this is who Andy was talking about. So, human history, all right? I feel like characters is a different question. And look, I'm not going to try and judge the answer too hard. You know what I mean? If it were characters, I could roast it. But, like, doesn't even fit the question. So it's like, I think, Andy, you failed on, like, multiple levels with this answer. I'm sorry. Usually, Andy, your answers are very good. But it's like, man.
But also, why do you want to talk to Cheese Gromit?
Absolutely. There is that. He said, in his defense, he did say he would have liked to have talked to Gromit. But I personally would like to have a chat with Shaun the Sheep, but Luke said, either early 20s Isaac Newton or late life Albert Einstein. Honourable mention, of course, to Ben Mendelsohn. That's great. Yeah, of course, no doubt about that. I mean, we're lucky to have Ben on the show, so we can arrange that.
Yeah, the chance we couldn't be here for that one.
I think in that one, like, what happened? Wasn't it Ben came in the call and Spooky left it for like Spooky dropped out right as Ben joined it for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, because that's all the time he had for us. So,
yeah, just missed him. Damn, that was, Luke will get there one day with Ben Mendelsohn, no doubt. But
Men Mendelsohn.
Men Mendelsohn. Anyway, I guess those are pretty good answers. Late life Albert Einstein. You got a bit of that channel in Oppenheimer, so but yeah, if you want to actually have a chat to him, that's fair enough. Jaden, how much thought did you put into this question?
You're gonna hate me for this, but I kind of reject this question because I think to have one person in human history, living or dead, we'll say at the moment, it places a lot of importance on that one person, and I just don't hold anyone in high enough regard or gravitas or like desire to really be able to answer it, because to say one exact person would mean that this person has more value than any other person to me anyway, so I reject your question because I don't like anyone enough.
You don't want to talk to Nick Cave?
Right.
Huh?
Nick Cave, you don't want to talk to him?
Not enough for him to be the one person I could, if I could pick one person, it'd be him, like not enough.
But you take no. You're taking this too seriously. It's just like it's just you want to have a chat with someone who, like, you don't need to think about it so hard. You know what I mean? It's not like you don't need to consider it like as a life altering mission here. It's just like, who would you'd have? Of course, you'd have a chat with Nick Cave. What are you talking about? Of course, you would.
Nah, Nick Cave would be disappointed in me.
Oh, so you fear rejection from Nick Cave? Got it. Okay. Like, oh, come on. Like, who would you have a chat with? Seriously.
Like I'm serious.
Pretend you can have a chat with multiple. Pretend you can chat with 5 people. Who's one of them?
Well, Nick Cave would be one of them. I think I said before, he's like one of the few people that I actually do respect. So he would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he hasn't died yet, so
No, but that's not part of the coin.
yeah.
Okay.
We'll put him in as a placeholder.
Okay. All right. Really, I've got to like think for more for you on your behalf or something. Okay, fair enough. I was sort of torn. Living, it's definitely George Lucas, no doubt. That came to me right away. That wasn't hard. But dead, I'd probably speak to Marcus Aurelius. Have a chat. I'd say I'm a big fan. Ask him to sign my book. He'd be like, "What the fuck is this?" First of all, he'd be
Lost
like,
paper.
well, yeah, and then that would be his first thing. And then this is, of course, assuming I can speak whatever language he spoke. Is it Roman?
Probably
Is that
Latin.
a language? Latin?
Ancient
probably.
Greek.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is your
I
own?
don't know. Fucking.
Hmm.
Yeah, ancient. Yeah, but like, is Roman a language? Yeah, would it be Latin?
Latin. That's it.
Yeah, gotcha. First of all, like, barring that, pretend we can speak Latin or some shit. It'd be like, okay, what is paper? And then it would be, wait, they published my personal diary for millions to read, and then he'd probably just die again. So there's that. But yeah, no, I'd have a chat with him because basically, I'm a fan of his work. I basically also he's also just a placeholder for anyone in ancient Rome and Greece. Like, I'd love to speak to anyone. I'd take anyone in that time, to be honest. I'd love to have a chat about that and just get a glimpse of life at that time. I'm reading a book about it
You
right now.
chat
I
to the
find it very
concreter
interesting.
that laid 2 meters of road in his whole life.
I would take that. Again, probably prefer Marcus, but I'd take it.
Yeah.
I'd probably prefer the Emperor of Rome, but I'd accept the carpenter, concreter, whatever. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Fitzy.
Yeah, I also went the boring route. I also went ancient Greek for this.
This ain't boring. It's great.
Isn't it? But I chose some boring stoic. That's fucking. Who does that?
Yeah.
I chose Aristotle.
have you? Oh,
Yes,
fucking hell.
because out of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle arguably experienced the most because he got to absorb all the knowledge from his teacher and his teacher's teacher. But also, when Plato gave the academy away to his cousin, Aristotle left like the main Greek world and went to Macedonia and taught Alexander as a teenager. So I feel like old Aristotle would have a lot of wisdom. That's just my personal opinion that Aristotle has wisdom, but yeah, it'll be a lot of fun.
That's great. That's a banging answer. I totally agree with it.
Good.
Aristotle's the go anyway of those dudes.
Yeah, because Socrates. Socrates started everything, but Socrates and Plato were too. They were lost in the sauce a bit. They were a bit out there sometimes.
They're a bit heady, a little bit.
Like the Platonic forms and like this kind of
right, 100%. The forms, like, no, all right. And then, dude, if I chose him and then he started talking about the forms, I'd be like, can I fucking have a refund?
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly. Yeah, no, that's very true. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same wavelength there. But yeah, I don't know, Shane. Like, come on, Shane. Human history. Like, what are the times, that you'd want to get some perspective on?
But
through a particular person, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care about any one person enough.
But like me, I said I'd take a carpenter. Like, is there a time where you take anyone?
You take a carpenter. Jesus, you mean like
yeah,
person?
Yeah, sure. Just go there and just observe him, and
Actually, that's probably objectively.
That's probably like the one that you
should
need to
answer
do.
me.
Yeah,
like everyone should actually do like the real Jesus and get all the answers done and expose him. So, sir, can you please clarify Did you walk on water?
Can you show
And
us
then-
now?
Yeah, I cannot confirm or deny. And oh, this is a waste of time. But yeah, everyone should do it. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. All right.
But what happens if you say Jesus and you end up with like some random Mexican dude, and now he's just
Yeah,
like
no.
observing his life?
You know, you remember like the guy in The Sopranos, Liam? Who's the what's his name? Was that Jesus or there's that guy in The
Jesus?
Sopranos who was like the employee, like in number one, like who attacked Melfi? You know what I'm talking about? What's his name?
Oh.
Jesus?
Maybe like Jesus or something. Maybe.
Oh, it was Jesus probably. Yeah, but then you'd get a Jesus or some shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. As always, we'd love you to submit your responses, thoughts, and or reviews for next week's film in the YouTube or Instagram comment section, or join the Discord server. That is, of course, if there was a film next week. But guess what? There's not. But we still want you to do all of that. Write in. Because this week, the specific question we'll be asking you is, of course, in preparation for our illustrious awards episode, which I'm very excited about. The question is, what have been your favourite movies and TV shows of 2023? Let us know. Have your say. We'll be talking about that in depth next week for ourselves. But get your say in there, you know, because, I don't know, we've got great taste, but like there might be a few things we've missed. Possibly.
Mm.
Not likely, but possibly. So, you know, make sure they're represented if you write in. Let us know. All right. That's it for this week's episode. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Fitzy already said what we're doing next week, but do you want to also to say it anyway? For tradition?
Yeah. We're not doing film, guys. We're doing the awards. The most anticipated episode of the year. Yeah, there's an event. There's like a new event section in Discord. Maybe we should like add the awards to that. Just like so, all year people are just waiting for the awards. It's like
Maybe
the
we
one
could host
event
the
we have.
awards live in Discord.
Oh my God.
We could do something special.
That sounds tricky. Could be interesting. We appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate Liam and Jaden for joining me as always. Have a great rest of your week and goodbye.